On behalf of Bharat Dialogues, I take this privilege and opportunity to welcome you all to the second edition of our annual Women Conclave. This time, we have themed it as Women Leadership Awards. It is heartwarming and humbling to see so many returning guests and volunteers from the last edition. So many of our seniors, Mr. Alphonse, Ms. Simrat Gulati, Dr. Rachna, Smita Kabra, all our special guests, and some of our awardees are here already. I apologize for the delay as some of our people are still on their way and we know the distances in Delhi are brutal. So we are sitting in the Kamala Devi block. Can anybody tell me who Dr. Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay was? Anyone? Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Raman Magsaysay Award winner, one of the two ever directors of National School of Drama, the chief of Sangeet Natak Akademi. That's the Kamala Devi that we are talking about. And that's the erasure that women face in history. The respect and recognition they are given remains on a board or is symbolic, but often their contributions, she was known as the Hathkarga Ma of India. She did so much for handicrafts and crafts. But unfortunately, I often ask teams here for events, do you know who Kamala Devi was? And 99.9% of time, nobody knows. Just last year, as I received the Woman Leader Award in Education from LSDB London, I reflected on what it means to be a woman leader. I asked myself, am I a leader first or a woman first? Or am I both in equal measure? Why are men just leaders and not male leaders or men leaders? And why are we labeled as woman leaders? Some of these questions have been the seeds from which the theme of this event has germinated. I have spent almost 26 plus years of my life working, which is now more than half of my entire existence. The journey from a trainee at All India Radio newsrooms to leading global teams that dealt with 11 languages across the world, and now to leading Bharat Dialogues and IIMM, my journey has been fraught with good and bad memories. Some as a young person, which found good leaders and bad leaders, and some in my role in leadership. While growing up, unfortunately, there were very few women role models we could see as leaders. The ones we did were all supposed to be masculine, aggressive, go-getters, workaholics, strong decision makers, authoritative, and the like. But growing up as a leader, it was difficult to stay a leader in this mold, while maintaining the essence of the person I was, a woman. Leading with empathy and compassion, being assertive and not aggressive, not be focused all the time but distracted because I was multitasking and raising a child, and all my other roles as a caregiver and nurturer. I made all strong decisions, but I was also comfortable putting forth my vulnerability on display, which often male leaders do not. I do not know what leadership programs now teach you. Yeah, trust me, there are programs in leadership. I teach one for the University of Washington. And there too, it is a global classroom. I teach them conflict management, stress management, internal communication, empathy in leadership, the skills I think a leader should have, more than anything else. Coming back to the question, why a woman leader and not just a leader? A few days ago, I was in a media literacy class in a Delhi school. As we walked in, and ma'am was with me, the boys sat on one side and the girls sat on the other. It is okay in a religious congregation because there the norms are different, but in a school, in a high school, in Delhi, in 2025. These are the micro discriminations every day that tell the girls that they are different, they need to be protected, they need to be huddled. And we do not find anything wrong with it. Management consultant Maren Lawden coined the phrase glass ceiling about 45 years ago. And she still says it is as relevant as ever before. A metaphor which we all know means an invisible barrier that acts as a roadblock to women and minorities from rising upwards towards senior positions in leadership. Globally, there is no goodbye to glass ceilings. But now there is another thing called the glass cliff. Anybody heard about the glass cliff? The media students should have. So the glass cliff means the next level up of the glass ceiling, where women employees are given a chance to get elevated in their career and their companies when the companies are nosediving downwards. They are on the verge to fall, so they need a scapegoat, and that is when women are put in positions of leadership. So empowering women in leadership role transcends the pursuit of equality. It is a critical strategic necessity for thriving organizations and robust economies. The focus should now not be on whether to engage women in leadership, but on how to effectively harness their vast capabilities and unique insights at a boardroom table. Studies consistently indicate the positive impact of gender-balanced leadership on financial performance, innovation, and decision-making. However, even with considerable progress, the Indian industry still shows a lack of women in leadership positions. Less than 30% of women hired at entry level ever reach leadership positions, compared to a significantly higher progression rate for men. We must address the persistent challenges women face, including domestic responsibilities and unconscious gender bias. While we celebrate the phenomenal women who shattered barriers, the reality remains women in Indian leadership stand before a half-open door. A sobering statistic, only 12% of C-suites in India have women at helm, paints a picture of missed opportunities for business, a lot of talented women taken out of the workforce, and true societal progress. All the statistics here are from the KPMG Women Leadership in Corporate India report. We need the term women leaders because for long, the C-suites and the boardrooms have been the stag-only place, the old boys club, where the boys play together, stay in their power towers, and as the largest mega system, patriarchy penetrates the smaller systems, including workplaces. The 2013 Companies Act has contributed to a symbolic shift by mandating the presence of at least one woman director on all boards of listed companies. Sadly, I am on a lot of those boards, and I'm still the only woman, and it's not a pleasant picture. According to McKinsey & Company report of Women in Workplace 2022, which surveyed more than 40,000 employees globally, there's a broken rung at the first stage of management for women. Imagine you're going up a staircase, and in between they remove 2 steps for women. So either you'll have to hop and jump, and in India, wearing your sari, or fall in that hole, while men have all the steps intact. That's the broken rung. For every 100 men that are promoted, only 87 women are. For every 1 woman promoted at the director level and above, 2 more have to leave. Why do women have to leave workplaces? Why they have to leave their careers? Childbearing, parenting, caregiving, transfers to different cities, tougher commutes every day, unsafe workplaces, and many such factors. For this event itself, a lot of women could not come because traveling to Delhi is a problem. This is 2025 we are talking about. Societal biases regarding gender roles often translate into real-world challenges. I have been in these high-pressure leadership roles for more than a decade now. I survive fibromyalgia and high-function depression. I have raised a child alone. I have been a caregiver to my aging parents for more than 2 decades now, who live in another city. I'm reading a written speech today for the first time in my career because now I forget words and phrases. Invisible disability, menopause, period pains, a lot of those things are not talked about from dioceses or panels or spaces like these. And that is also the problem. Coming to another dichotomy of women leadership. Women in senior leadership roles are often perceived as hostile and misogynist. I often see a lot of my young interns come back to me and tell me, "Ma'am, my woman boss is the hurdle. She's not supportive enough. My HR, who is a woman, doesn't understand that I need this special treatment or a special leave around my periods. Why so? Do the men only inherit patriarchy? No, we all do. Internalized patriarchy is there in all of us. And when we deal with women, those biases come forth. The corporate ladder is small, rigid, and always at war. Each step is crowded, filled with people who could fit comfortably, but insecurity that has been fed into them by their cultures quietly tells them otherwise. Instead of sharing space, often, unfortunately, women in places of power push, shove, and struggle for more, fearing if they don't, they will be pushed down the ladder by a man. At the very top, though, things are different. There is room to breathe, to pause, to rest. But privilege also does something strange. Women who are in decision-making roles often have their visions blurred. From up there, from up here, the ladder disappears. Yeah, that is a human failing. I would also feel standing here that the last girl volunteer standing outside has the same privilege as me. No, she doesn't. She might have come using 2 buses or changing a metro and fighting with her parents to go out on a Sunday. Women in leadership roles often forget this. And this is one risk that those of us at top as women leaders need to avoid. All women do not have the same privileges or access to opportunities. I'm sure all of us here, especially the women, have heard the phrases. I heard it multiple times this week, last week, every week in my multiple workspaces. Oh, you forget it, keep it. You cannot do this. You are incapable of handling pressure. I will take this. This is more difficult. And the most nasty one, it is easier for women to get promotions. And when they say easier, it does not have a decent meaning. Despite progress, women face these microaggressions and biases every day. At workplace, in families, in homes, around with other women. Instead, the phrases which we should have heard, menstrual leaves, menopause leaves, childcare support, is not heard of. I mentioned to you earlier, I worked for 26 plus years. And trust you me, I've worked with the most premium publishing houses, institutions in this very country. And in this diverse career of mine, only one organization, only one, and I would like to name them, the Sahitya Academy, was the only one who provided me childcare, who gave me a support staff to look after my child who was just barely 5, who ensured that I have a special room or place during my workshops where the child can be safe and I could attend to her during meals and all. No other company has offered me childcare in 26 years of my career. So while I stand here, I represent all those women also who might have stepped out of the workplace because there was nobody to look after their child back home, because there was nobody to take care of an ailing parent back home, because your plant at home, your pet at home, your parents-in-law at home, your neighbors at home, your spick and span house at home, everybody expects this working woman to behave as if the working world shuts itself out as soon as she steps inside. And the moment I step into a boardroom, they expect that my child ceases to be and the rest of my responsibilities get thrown into a black hole. Those are the expectations from women leaders. It is a privilege today that even after such harsh treatment, we've also had men as allies. I'm so happy to see so many men here in support today. Men as fathers, partners, siblings, family members, colleagues, and bosses, Yes, I've had good male bosses as well who supported and encouraged women. Men and women who do their bit to make way, to create this difficult caste of being a women leader. It is a privilege today to spotlight the spirit, leadership, and wisdom of women leaders reshaping the world. I would urge all women leaders here and emerging women leaders to ask the tough questions. Why are you not giving me childcare? Why is there no breastfeeding room in your workplace? And also claim spaces. I have to claim my space here. I have to tell them I will speak my mind. And I will speak it as loud as I do. Trust me, it doesn't come easily. It doesn't come on a platter. We have to fight for it. And the moment they hear this voice, they try to Google search, who is my father, who is my husband, who is my brother, who am I related to? That is why I'm here. The world also needs to be told, some of us are here because we deserve to be here. As much as any man would be. And we are no longer restricted to sister, mother, wife, whatever. We claim our own spaces. At a bank event, and it's a national bank, I'll tell you, and a good private bank. So I was addressing them, the women they are working there across India, and I asked them how many of them had availed childcare. Not even one. I asked their HR that it is mandatory now to provide childcare, especially if you are such a big organization and you are a pan-India organization. She said, ma'am, crèche क्यों बनाएं? कोई मांगती नहीं है कभी. किसी लेडी एम्प्लॉय ने ये रिक्वेस्ट ही नहीं किया कि क्रेच चाहिए, तो हमने बनाया ही नहीं. कोई मांगेगा तो हम बना लेंगे. So what I was saying earlier is precisely this, that we'll have to ask for those rights. This is similar to, women having property rights. They never ask for it. The brothers and the fathers say, अरे उसको लेना ही नहीं था. कानून ने तो दे दिया है, बट उसको लेना ही नहीं था. तो ये जगह आपको लेनी पड़ेगी और समाज की नाराजगी की कीमत पर लेनी पड़ेगी. Status quo is never going to shake itself. It has to be shaken. And nobody is going to do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. We have to be the disruptors, the path breakers, and torch bearers for our own rights, and a rightful place for us under the sun everywhere. Although progress is being made, the pace of change needs to accelerate to unlock the full potential of female leadership. Companies do implement inclusive policies. Again, inclusive is a very problematic term. When they say, okay, we are including women, but is woman a large umbrella? Shweta is here, she works with a lot of Dalit communities and other intersections. So do we make space for women with disabilities? Do we make space for Dalit women? Do we make space for women who have fought their way through n number of societal, barriers to be here, speak their mind, speak it loud and clear? Wage gaps. So it is very disheartening for me. When I was doing research, I will speak about it more in my panel, but to know 130 साल अभी और लगेंगे बराबर पगार पाने में. 130 साल मतलब 13 पीढ़ियां और लगेंगी अभी कि मुझे मेरे काम के लिए बराबर सैलरी मिले. बॉलीवुड ने सिंबॉलिक कर दिया है. दे पुट द नेम फर्स्ट. The woman lead's name is put first in the cast and crew list. लेकिन हम सब जानते हैं, मैं नाम नहीं लूँगी, are our women leads, our heroines getting equal paychecks as our male heroes? That's a different story altogether. So structural barriers preventing women's advancement to ensure a more equitable corporate landscape have to be shattered. We have to fully embrace our diversity, and we have to leverage the strength women bring to leadership, which businesses can foster through innovation, through ethical practices, and driving economic success that reaches women. Trust me, I still know colleagues, unfortunately, whose paychecks are handled by husbands or fathers. It is time we think of ourselves as leaders. I speak here with the confidence of all the women whom I've worked with, all the women who are there in my team who've made this possible. And I tell them, Yat bhavo tat bhavati. What we think, we become. Let's think we are leaders. We will be leaders, women leaders. Also, our motto at Bharat Dialogues, Sangachudvam Sangvadodvam, says move together and speak together. So in today's event, I hope all of you join your voices to mine and to this larger narrative of women leadership and why we need more and more women in our spaces. Thank you very much.